What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Donatello.
This is Yablo.
And we on the run. Shout out to Sicarah.
Coming up poor, we was sleeping on the floor, we was posted on the back block.
What you know about having them doubts and they trying to take you out when they see you on the back block?
I was on the bench, you was just a mascot, fucking on the bad pitch.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Sicarah, and you already know you are now tuned into On The Run. Today I have with me two very special guests, SayLess and Donatello. What's up, y'all? Yes, so I'm so happy to have you guys both here, right? So as music artists, what led you both to want to pursue the music industry?
I've been rapping since I was like 8 years old. Music was just always something I gravitated towards. Like a lot of people around me did music, and I just looked up to a lot of people who started hip hop early on. And that's pretty much it. Trying to dream.
And for me, it was a little more different. I started off actually painting and drawing, and as time goes, realized it takes a little harder to support that. So I had to think about what was the next thing where I could express myself easily without having to worry about, you know, money and stuff like that. And it just came to freedom of speech, I guess. So I started doing poetry, and then after poetry, I decided, you know, kind of want to take it to the next level, and I just started doing music. And that's why I'm at, you know, my son here, 6th grade, 7th grade vibes, and that's when we made our first little rap group, and it was fake going from there. It was fake history from there. That's a friendly.
Wow, that's crazy, because that was one thing I was curious to know. How did you guys meet? It seems like y'all bond is so real as music artists. Y'all just tuned in with each other. When I hear the music, I'm like, this flow is really on point. And of course, I can tell you're two separate artists when y'all do music together, but it's still a vibe.
Thank you. I thank you for all those great words, those supportive words for sure.
Cause this really my friend in real life. So before we even mastered our craft, it just it became natural once we got to that point. So because I know how to bounce off his energy, he know how to bounce off mine.
And then we became brothers, a little more than friends. It's a little deeper. It's bigger. It's a bigger picture to a lot of what I see in here. It's not just about what he look like and what I look like. It's a bigger message behind a lot of this. You feel me? But y'all gonna tune in. Y'all gonna find out.
Yes, I love that. So I do want to talk a little bit about They Don't Know, right? Okay. Because that song really touched me. There was so many points in there that was so heartfelt. And I was really in tune with it. Even some experiences that I don't know anything about, right? But it's just, you still feel it. So I want to talk about, was there ever any fear at all when it came to dropping music that is just so authentic?
To be honest, you got to stand for something to fall for anything. And there's a certain sense of responsibility behind what is true to you. And, you know, nobody's original because no idea under the sun is from one person. For me, everybody did it before.
I don't really have no fear in nothing that I say in the lyrics because it's like I'm telling them the truth. I'm telling my truth. Or anybody else who doesn't want to understand my truth, it's just you don't want to deal with my reality. So, you know, like a lot of times, like people will look at a situation like you said, like a situation that you never had to experience, but most of the time they judge that situation instead of put themselves in that predicament and ask themselves what would they do. Yeah, so I feel full. The music is the only time I got the freedom to really say what the fuck I want to say and not actually do what I really want to do. Yeah.
That was valid.
Yeah, right. That was valid, definitely, for sure. I could definitely, you know, it's hard to even piggyback over an answer like that. You know, for sure, I could resonate with you saying.
They don't know.
I could definitely resonate with that, you feel me? And like I said, there's a certain sense of responsibility to be true to yourself, to be understanding that your truth is your truth. You can't run away from what's really real. And the minute you start running away from things that are really real, terrible things start happening. So you should always accept yourself. And music for me is a more therapeutic thing. So I let my truths out through this. It's not something I'm just doing for a gimmick or because it's cool to say or because shit is wavy right now. Nah, like I take this on a personal level, and I definitely can say he does as well.
To piggyback a little bit off that, it's not even really about the glorification of any of it. It's just really about like if you've seen something or actually went through something, like just painting the picture so somebody else don't have to go through the same exact shit that you went through.
I hope that they listen. Something that a lot of people not doing now. They just judging, they pointing fingers. But when you point a finger, you got 3 pointing back at you.
So I know I'm not the only person going through this type of shit. So a lot of times nobody got nobody to vent to, talk to even ease their mind.
Yeah, we here. Levels and Lasers here. You want to let them know, vent, do whatever you want. You can
they don't know out now.
That's friendly. You know that.
Yeah, so I do want to talk a little bit about that too, levels and lanes. Now, first of all, I love it because everybody's trying to get to the next level, and there's always that saying, stay in your lane. So talk to me about how you guys came up with the title, what exactly is it, and let's get into the merch too.
Yeah, I mean, I could give you the real political answer, or I could be 100% honest with you. That came out from an argument that I had with my significant other, and the whole point is that we all want to make it, and we all want to get to the point where we all want to have to be relaxed and not have to worry about things like that. But at the same rate, it's like you can't speed your process, because once you skip steps, you miss the lessons. So when you're trying to come up, if you do something, try to come up too fast, it's not going to work out for you. As fast as you got it, is as fast as you're going to lose. So stay in your lane and hold it down until it's your time to come up. And that's kind of like where it kind of all stemmed from in that idea. And then I was just like, after the argument, I was just like, levels, and I was like, lanes. And I was like, hold on, yeah, this is perfect. Levels and lanes, you feel me? Like, so that's kind of how that came about.
Yeah, that's really how the title came from. We was already thinking about a brand itself, but we just didn't know what to call it or how we was going to brand it or how we was going to title it.
And that shit was organic. It couldn't have come at a better time through a better person, especially, you know, like women inspire a lot, especially through men. And I think that's something that we kind of want to focus on, how that came from an inspirational situation where it was like, wow, that came from like an argument, but that turned into something that was positive. It was like, wow, that's fire. That's kind of what I want to say to explain.
Wow, that is a really, really good explanation. So you did talk about lessons, right? So that's something that I really want to talk about, because one of your lyrics that really stood out to me had something to do with lessons. I don't want to call it rapping, but when I talk bars, it doesn't sound right. But
talk the bars, yeah.
All right. So you said showing too much love, that'll make you weak, right? So everyone learns through life lessons, as I said before. So what experience led you to that line? Because I feel like you had to go through something to realize that.
Oh man, that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. You know, there's a big battle in this world, you feel me? And it's a lot of evil versus good type of situations going on. And when you are born with so much good in your heart in this world, as time goes by, you become a little disgruntled at the fact that certain situations that transpire. But the truth is that those energies are only there to make you a part of what they are. So if you change your energy and you know that you're good to submit to that, then it's just like you try to lose faith after that, and you don't kind of want to be good no more. But that's the whole thing. That's the whole fight. It's the fight to be good. And through my trials and tribulations, like, being good to get you hurt. So be selective about who you're good to. Be more understanding, be more critical. You know, you just can't help everybody. You can't plant a good seed in bad soil. So that's kind of where that line came from.
Wow, you know, a lot of people probably don't notice, but that's from the Bible. You know, like they say that too about the seed in the soil. So that's pretty deep right there.
So I just gotta be careful where I plant my energy at, and that's my seed. You feel me? We're gonna take it to the top, especially with this levels of lane shit. Y'all just gotta be there to witness big facts.
Yeah, so we gotta get into the title. So SayLess, Donatello. I really gotta know the origination of your names, because that right there reminded me of maybe that's why you named yourself SayLess, and Donatello has this ring to it. Like, you know, like I don't wanna play with you type ring. Both of y'all got that. So let's talk about that. Where y'all get that from?
Like, my name is Don, like my real name. So it's like a long time before I had the name Donatello, I had a different rap name, but it had Don in it. And one of my friends told me that was whack. He told me my name wasn't going to be it because another rapper had a similar name. So he just told me to just think about a stage name, like some type of character that still has my regular name in it. And one day I was with my nephew just watching Ninja Turtles, and I really thought about Donatello, and it worked. I changed my Instagram name to Donatello, and that was like 2014, 2015.
Shout out to all the kids in the world. Keep being great.
Facts. Donatello ever since.
That's a fact. My name, that's actually, the world works in a different way, especially when you're doing the right thing. It's funny that you asked me about that, because SayLess was kind of like a name that people just kind of gave me from where I lived and where I grew up on, as far as like, and that was recently because I had the name and on Instagram. So like, hey, just caught on and had like a link to it, like, oh, SayLess, SayLess, SayLess. So I'm like, all right. And then around that time prior to that, that word was popular, that kind of like slang where it's like, say no more, say less. Like, I got it, I already understand. So it kind of just stuck, and I was like, hey, if that's what people know me for, then I'm just gonna stick with the name. But my name is actually, I'm switching it over to Yablo. It's actually always been Yablo. There's a big meaning behind that, you know, for the people that I'm supporting and I'm taking care of and I'm making sure that we're good and we're gonna make it to the top. I changed my name to that. For me, it's still Pablo, but it got the Y in it. You know, you tune in a little bit more, you understand my story, you're gonna see what the Y means for sure.
Y'all believe though. That shit.
Oh, so we gotta wait. I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Maybe really not SayLess.
I like that.
Like, don't get that. You know, but Yablo is where it's at, though. That's what Fendi wants.
I'm really gonna tell her.
Yeah, y'all really gonna tell her for sure.
PTSD left me damaged and broken. That line really meant a lot to me because I don't think a lot of people realize that the trauma that you may experience as a child, it really does something to you. It's not normal all the time, or we just grow up thinking it's normal. So I just want to talk about a little bit how you overcome certain situations. Are you pro-therapy, or is music like the therapy?
Yeah, like PTSD in general is a topic that minorities, period, don't really touch on. They like to act like it don't exist just so they don't have to deal with their trauma and their hardship. But it's real important because once you understand what happened to you and what made you become what you are, then you can move further with your life and leave everything behind you for real. But like, as far as therapy, I'm not really too fond of therapy unless it's somebody who's really directly from your background can actually relate, because I don't believe in paying $500 an hour to speak to somebody who never stood in my neighborhood or been under any circumstances that I ever been in, like, because they wouldn't do the same thing I would do, so how you gonna tell me what to do?
That's a fact. And piggybacking off of that, I really want to just say, the music in terms of losing friends due to jail and incarceration, what impact does that have on you, let's say, or you feel like people in your community? Because I think a lot of times it's in music, but nobody talks about the people who are on the outside.
Yeah, I think it starts in the household. Like I've been losing people, family members to incarceration and death since I was born, basically. So it's like I kind of just seen it on the come up, not knowing that mentally this was affecting me as an adolescent. So once we start unpacking that, then we can start to move forward with the problem once we identify with that problem.
It's actually funny that you actually asked me that, because I took a trip out to Philly, and I went to the Eastern Philadelphia Penitentiary, and that was the first penitentiary ever made in the whole United States. And it was going down because it wasn't actually fit to fit people in it, because back then they had a different idea of what incarceration was. They would actually try to help you and bring you out of it so that you can be better. Now it seems like the genuine understanding is that you can't even make it once you get out. And then if you go into the stats about the racial understanding and how much they put in people in there and stuff like that, you'll start to see like that shit plays a big role. They got this thing called where they like the private companies invest in blocks, heavy security on blocks, the surveillance blocks to take out families. Because it's like there's no reason why the same cop, like I grew up in the same spot for 27 years. I'm about to be 27 May 31st. Shout out to me and all the Geminis out there.
Love
but for me, I lived in the same block for 26 years, 27 years, and it's almost like I grew up with the cops. Like you see the same cops everywhere, every year. It's the same thing, and it's because people privately are investing to make sure like we don't really get out. So that plays a big role. I mean, a big point of why I even started to make music. I'm a very private person. I don't really like to be into too much. I stick to myself. So they took my friends from me. Like I was being foolish and I was being unappreciative because I thought everything was going to stay the same way forever, because it kind of felt that way. But when 2015 happened, y'all read into my story a little more, y'all see what's going on, y'all understand like that was a pivotal year, and they took 8 of my friends. And I didn't realize that those people were so important to my very well-being and my whole understanding of life, because I'm very closely with my community for sure. So when they took them away, it left a big gap in me. And within that gap came the PTSD, came the trauma, came everything where it's like, damn, like, I really gotta talk about something. I really gotta say something because something happened here. And if you come here, when you go on my block now, you think nothing ever went down. And that's kind of like what they want you to understand, that nothing ever went down. So that's why we doing what we doing. So
we went from plantations to prison yards.
Word. Free my son, Santana, aka Bands, free my son Slay,
everybody.
You feel me? Free the whole gang, why not? Make the fucker for sure. My son Blazer's home, go show him love. My son Ra home, go show him love. You already know vibes. Free everybody, free the family, free everybody. Anybody that's locked up, show them love. Show them a letter. Send them a picture. That shit don't mean nothing. That's Walgreens for 5 seconds, 5-10 minutes. You can smoke a blunt with your mans. Show love to these people that show love and did things when nobody else would have. You feel me? Support them.
Right, and you know what? That's crazy because a lot of people don't think about, like you said, out of sight, out of mind. Like you said, show love because they're not thinking about it anymore. Everybody goes back to their regular life, and that's so unfortunate, especially for people who don't snitch, people who hold it down, and then they gotta struggle by themselves. So.
Yeah, you just gotta be honorable. Just be honorable. You gotta be honorable. That's really all it is. Free my son AR, honorable ones. You heard my son Dark Low. Free all of them. I respect it. You heard? I respect everything y'all promote. Keep preaching that because people don't lost their moral and their ethics in this shit.
Facts.
They don't look out.
Facts, bro.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a soda. So you
gotta put that on camera.
I should keep that. Alright, heard you. So what is right? I got the New York vibe off rip. I was like, okay, it's somewhere here. Right. So you ain't gotta say exactly where, but y'all wanna shout out the borough at all and like maybe how hip hop music, how you seen it in your
I'm from Uptown, BX, and my son is from Webster.
Listen, we from the Mecca of this shit. We from the Mecca where rap started. Forget about the.
It's where everything started. Everybody around the world, y'all know where rap started. That's why.
There's a lot of culture in the Bronx. You feel me? A lot of people be trying to play the Bronx. Because technically speaking, if you look up on Google, we're the poorest county in the entire country. And I said that correct, the entire country.
Us in East Cleveland.
Where they want to impoverish you, there's a lot of culture, a lot of essence there, a lot of vibes there. And that's why hip hoppers came to be from the Bronx, because they try to play us, and now we have to make something to make the whole world change. And now we here to bring that vibe back to that. Shout out to my son A-Boogie, shout out to Cardi B, I think Fat Joe, you already know.
Yeah, everybody from the Bronx.
That's shout out to the Bronx, for sure. Shout out to my Brooklyn, Queens niggas and all that, you know, Harlem.
Nah, New York, we here, but shout out to the Bronx though. Like, I love New York, but shout out to the Bronx.
I love that. All right, so let's get into the messaging because you already touched a little bit on the messaging, but overall, as a music artist, what do you want people to think when they hear your artist name? Like, oh, he gonna give you that pain music, or is it party music, or is it everything in one?
You want to go first, bro?
I just like authentic. Like I just want people to feel like I'm a person. Like I go through everything just like a regular person. Because a lot of times, like people might they might judge you for whatever you into. Like, oh, now you're a weirdo, now you're this, now you're that. Like, nah, you're just still a person at the end of the day. So it's like I just want to be accepted as somebody.
I feel that. When people hear Yablo, the question is when people hear Yablo, like what I want them to think. To be honest, I don't want them to think one thing. I think what we oftentimes just do, and like, you know, my son is a key example of this, where it's like people want to look at you and they want to have these assumptions about you. Feel me? Judge a book by its cover. And, you know, you hear Yablo, you hear Donatello, you kind of would say less, and you kind of get these vibes of there's something around that, like, I shouldn't really fuck with. And you should definitely feel that. But we should never be boxed in to that situation. It should never be just, oh, we rap, or yeah, we do this. Like, nah, we do it all, baby. We saw stuff all the way in different realms. You feel me? So you might see me here, you might see me there. Abracadabra's a trick. We hit everywhere. They never there for sure. So we might be doing movies, we might be doing music, we might be doing short films. We're gonna do merch. We're gonna do a lot of stuff. So, you know, when you hear Yablo, just think of a progressive thought. When you hear Donatello, think of a progressive thought. Levels and lanes, we only doing better because if you know better, you do better. And best believe, some of us know better and we fucking up. But, you know, God is good and God is great. So every day you get another 24. Okay. Definitely want to holler at, I want to say a couple more names too. I just definitely forgot about a couple of them. Name my son Rush. my son Ferneezy. There's a couple other ones, a lot of ones, you feel me? But you know, my son Rels for sure, my son Rels, all of them in the music. You know, you're not gonna see me, and you're not gonna see me talking about my community and what my community has done for people to feel safer and feel more love than hate. For me, so.
Sure. So I want to talk a little bit about the Slave Moolah freestyle.
Okay.
The lines that stood out to me.
Free Slave.
Free Slave.
Yes. Facts. And so this is the thing, right? You said 35 to the grave. That line stood out to me. And also, every day you rap about getting up and praying to God and that He show you a way. And I love the fact that you included faith, and I love the fact that you were so honest because, you know, a lot of times when people hear, oh, somebody's locked up, they might think 5 years, max 10 years. So I want to know, like, how does faith or religion in a way help you guys get through it? Or, you know, you could just talk about why it's so important for you to be so honest on your lyrics.
Well, first of all, to set the tone for that question, fuck what faith do for me right now, because thank to God I'm out here with some good people. You know, we alive, we got all our limbs and everything like that. But what faith is doing for my mans behind the wall, under the ground, is the question. Like, I got my mans writing me, telling me to keep going with this music shit, to keep pushing. I got somebody that's behind the wall, underground, telling me that. So for me to feel like I'm sad because my emotional or my life is not going as well, or I can't get this and I can't that, how could someone with faith behind the wall and under it tell me, yo, bro, keep going with this shit? If he can have that, best believe I can have that and more, because I got every day to make it right. So it's definitely like, and there's things we can't control in this world. No matter how much of a good person you could be, no matter how much of a bad person, whatever the case may be, there's things you cannot control in here. And even when you're doing things right, bad stuff happen. You be confused. You know what I'm trying to say? So you always gotta wake up and pray to something that'll give you more of a feeling like, yo, something can happen different. Because the minute you start letting your lower self control your higher self, you're gonna get lost in the sauce, and we don't do that over here.
That was bars, lower self control your higher self, yeah.
Snatch you.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, that was fire.
Don't let it snatch you. That's offending. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your weed too. You heard they fucking up the weed too. I'm telling you.
Cuomo.
Doing bad.
Yo, I can't.
That shit was crazy.
Alright, so another line, you know, since we're talking about bars, since you know, accidentally throwing out bars on purpose, I'm not sure. You say you on timing but never on schedule. I was like, wow. That right there, I love that, because people, I want to know the premise behind it. But the first thing that I thought was like, people be relying on people too much, not realizing that people are people. So I was like, yes, thank you.
Not even that, you know. There's a lot of pump faking going on. A lot of pump faking. A lot of people that what was the line again? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Say on time and never on schedule.
Yeah, like, you know, they there when it's convenient. So you say you there, you say you was really there, you do what you do, but you only there because it's convenient to you. So, but you always on schedule, but you never truly on time when that time comes. And that's another thing too, ladies. I mean, I'm gonna holler at y'all later because we're gonna definitely get into this. You don't need a real nigga all the time. As for granted, you don't need a real nigga all the time. But I promise you, when you do need him, you're gonna wish you had him. So that's a whole different conversation. Yeah, like people be pump faking, and it's just like, bro, be there and be true. Don't be there when it's not convenient for you. Be there when it's not convenient. Be there when no one's looking, because that's what it matters the most. People just be worried that people are looking. Like, don't do that.
Don't judge nobody when they come to you. Judge them about
do what you do when you're by yourself. That's how I tell people. Like, do what you do when no one's looking, because that's what it means winning.
So, oh, sorry.
No, so for sure.
So, Donatello, whoa, right? Like, when I listen to your music, I get a little bit of a Soulja Boy vibe. Like, I went back. No, that's not a bad. Do you know how many hits he has?
Okay, you meant.
I'm like, wait. Do you know? No, that's not a bad thing. Yeah, look at how much money. What Soulja Boy got? that. Yeah, we will talk about that later.
Nah, that's nice.
Anyway.
No pocket watching.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is that you make music that is like also hardcore, but you also make music that I feel like it has like a bounce, like a different vibe to it that I wasn't expecting until I started looking on iTunes and stuff. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I had to develop that. Like when I was younger, like coming up, all I had was the bars. Like so I took a little hiatus while I wasn't rapping, so I could perfect it. So I could practice how to diversify my style and shit like that. Cause you can't be hardcore all the time. And if all your music is that you're hardcore all the time, that's how I know you're not hardcore at all. Because everybody do everything. Like I like women, I like to have fun, I like to enjoy life. I just don't go through trials and tribulations all the time. I'm really lit in real life. Like so it's like you gotta incorporate that in the music.
Right, it can't be one dimensional.
It can't be I shoot, kill all day, or I do this all day,
that's how you end
all
up in
day.
the box.
It's like fucking lying. You with your mother in the grocery store, you took your niece over here, you went to the amusement park, nobody wanna talk like they do that type of stuff no more. And I be like, y'all crazy, because I do all of that. Like,
we got something for everybody.
Like I like people that have fun and feel energetic when they listen to my music. But there's always a lesson even in that type of music that I got.
Facts, I love that. So I do want to talk about the music video, what it is, right?
Okay.
And the reason being is because that is the video you shot. And that's on Levels and Lanes. And I want to know, what was it about this particular song? And whose idea was it to come out of the door like that? Like, I thought that was so valid. It's like, you're telling a story, but I'm following the story. Right. And then I like how you wasn't by yourself. Like, it was like a very collaborative team effort, even though you was rapping. So right. I love that.
So what it is actually it's a statement for my people that's locked behind bars right now, because sometimes people forget what they did. So I just took it upon myself to make sure people remember their name and people speak about them consistently, because over time you can lose sight of that. I creative directed the video myself. Obviously I have my videographer there. Shout out to Ty Vision, he always do his thing. Ty Vision, that's his gram. And basically it was my idea to come out from those spots and be in those particular places, because the significance is that we really from there. Feel me? So when you really from somewhere, you can go anywhere you want. You can do whatever you want. You could be with whoever you want. You could be with the bosses, or you could be with the store runners. You could do everything anyway. So that's why I chose to come out in the backyard and let people know, because we're not doing surface level shit. We're not just on a random block somewhere jacking something we're not really into, or not really, actually lived in. So that's kind of like my direction with the whole video and stuff.
That's fire. I love that. So what is something that you guys really want to complete in 2021?
Something I want to complete? I just want all the music that I got in the stash to be out, like with the visuals and everything, because I've been holding on to a lot of music. I'm about to really flood the streets, and I'm excited about all of the shit that I got in the cup. We're gonna play you some shit, but yeah, that's really it for 2020.
I think that the answer to that question is like everlasting, in the sense that we all got shit to say, and before we get up out of here, we want to let people know what was it. A lot of us don't come from generational wealth. A lot of us don't, we don't even get to see past a certain age where we're from. So for me personally, it's like, this shit is really real. So before I get up out of here, I want to make sure that I left behind a message, an idea, an understanding that was like, if you ain't never met me and you ain't known me, just off the energy, you see what type of time I was on. And yeah, that's kind of more or less what it is.
Also, speaking of 2021.
More videos, merch, all of that. You feel me? We're keeping it serious, but definitely keep it real. All of that's coming. That's everything. I know that's gonna come in. We don't have to really talk. We're gonna show you how it's coming for sure.
Yes, I love that, because actions speak louder than words. I'm with you on that.
That's
for real.
funny, you know that.
2 artists that you guys can work with. Who would it be and why?
Industry or anybody.
That's interesting. I've literally met Industry, but now I'm curious. I'm like,
a lot of there's so much people who make music who never made it or never like past the surface level, like, and they better than everybody that's making that shit. So, yeah, there's certain people that I want to. That's not lit.
Okay, so how about we do 2 people? Oh, that's offensive though. If you say 2 people not lit. Okay, give me 4. 2 different songs, 2 people on each.
I could give you 2 people who I want to work with. Just off the top of my head, I definitely want to work with Roddy Ricch and definitely want to work with Lil Durk.
Why is that?
There's something special about the texture of their voice. You feel me? Not even to be on no funny shit or whatever the case may be, but no, they got a certain type of mixture between like the urban sound and the country sound. And their bop and their slang make their vernacular sound a lot better, cooler. So I like they vibes, their energy. I like their song structure, and I just like the voice. Like I feel like it'll be wavy.
I want to do something.
Oh, and Rory too. I fuck with Rory. Rory's you niggas are gay? No, I got you. Nah, you feel me?
I want to do something with somebody who really rap, because I really rap. Probably like anybody in New York or anybody in the game who really is a boss. I want to do some shit with Tank. You know what I'm saying?
No, shout out to Tank.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tank. Yeah, because she really raps.
Still big nice.
But she really raps though. So it's like I want to do something with a female who really rap. So we can talk about some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Talk about some shit. Yeah. I feel like she really did the best spot.
Also, you know, we like to do things a little above and beyond here at Levels and Lanes, and there's something like, you know, we want to appreciate you, Sicarah, for, you know, doing this first interview with us. Shit more monumental than you think, even the camera knows. So we want to kind of just give you something from our company to yours.
Thank you.
Levels and Lanes
Right.
beating.
We got some care. We got some Levels and Lanes care packages coming out. Only the essentials and only the members. You heard? Only the fucking members. OTM. Remember that? For me. Shout out to Dirk for the OTM. We're gonna do all of the members too. It's a lot coming on the way. Just stay tuned and show love, because that shit free. And shout out to my son Nice too. My son Nice.
Shout out Nice.
Love is free. Support is free. Holla at that man. He got a podcast on all
Support is free on Spotify out right now.
Shout out to my son Shabby. Shout out to my son Ty Finesse. Shout out to my son Scambino. You already know the vibes. Jamming at the box. My son Cash. Cash is a different type of person. Y'all don't even know what's gonna come through. But we're gonna see what we talking about. For these are all collaborations. All, you know, people that's good with us and they good energy. So definitely.
Thank you so much. I love gifts. Like,
you want to open it too?
Oh yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
See if you like it. That shit.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I will.
You didn't see it, right?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I'm the worst when it comes to opening stuff, as you guys can see.
You always do that.
Right? It's like the most like, oh, this is so nice. You guys like taped it and everything.
Yeah, you know,
Oh, this is valid. I like this. Thank you.
Everything is fresh, you feel me? So we didn't even open that up and like open it up for you, so you just gotta put it in reverse. And it's
I love she. OTM, she's officially an OTM member.
That's a fact. Honorary member, you heard? That's a fact, Sicarah.
You guys have to tell me. Thank you so much. What is this symbol?
Everything 101.
Everything.
If you're not in tune now, I wish you get in tune later, because everything we coming in now, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it because you've been a person of essence at some point, whether minuscule or really big influence. You're gonna have something from us, and that'll never be replicated. And it's one upon everything. You heard this?
And I got a show called 101 coming.
Hey,
everything
lit. I like the exclusive.
Everything 101. So
Yeah, if I didn't record that, it's coming.
It's a fact.
That's hard. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you both being on the run.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the run for having me.
Yeah, that's a fact. Appreciate the run. Appreciate you. And we definitely hope to see you again.
Yes, definitely will.
Maybe in like a whole year when we super up. Trust me. It's coming.
It's really gonna look different by 2022. It's not gonna be the same way.
Nah, I love that.
I done did too much, can't trust the soul. I don't need your back, I got my own. I ain't with the games after we grown. I still think of you when I'm alone.